Have you been hearing whispers about a special Social Security payment headed your way? Well, you're in the right place because today we're diving into what everyone's talking about, the $1,927 Social Security stimulus that's generating quite a buzz. I understand many of you are concerned about making ends meet, especially with rising costs these days. That's exactly why I've spent hours researching the latest updates straight from the Social Security Administration and cross-referencing IRS announcements to bring you the most accurate information about this Trump-era program that's making headlines again. Over my decade of covering Social Security news, I've never seen so much confusion around a single topic. Some people are saying it's guaranteed money in the bank, while others claim it's just another internet rumor. Today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get to the facts. I'll walk you through exactly what this payment means for you, who qualifies, and most importantly, what steps you need to take to ensure you don't miss out if you're eligible. But before we dive into the details, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Why? Because Social Security rules and benefits are constantly changing, and I make it my mission to keep you updated with clear, accurate information as soon as it becomes available. Plus, I'd love to hear about your own experiences with Social Security in the comments below. Have you heard about this stimulus payment from friends or family? Your insights help our entire community stay informed. Now, let's get into what you really came here for, the full story behind this $1,927 payment and what it could mean for your January benefits. Now, let's dive right into the heart of what this Social Security stimulus payment means for you and your family. As promised, I'm going to break down every detail about this $1,927 payment, making sure you understand exactly where this money is coming from and what you need to know. Back during the Trump administration, a series of economic measures were put in place that continue to have ripple effects today, and this particular stimulus program is one of them. Many of you have been faithfully paying into Social Security for decades, and you deserve to know exactly how these additional funds might affect your monthly benefits. Let me start by addressing the biggest question I've been getting in my inbox. Yes, this is separate from the regular cost of living adjustment, COLA, that was recently announced. This is an entirely different program that was initially established during the Trump presidency and has been recently reauthorized for specific categories of Social Security recipients. I've spent countless hours speaking with financial advisors and Social Security experts to get the clearest picture possible of how this stimulus payment will work. What's fascinating is how this payment structure was actually designed to target those who might have been overlooked in previous benefit adjustments. You see, unlike the standard COLA increases, this stimulus takes into account several unique factors that could make a real difference in who qualifies and who doesn't. Now, I know some of you might be wondering why the specific amount is $1,927. This figure wasn't pulled out of thin air. It's actually based on a complex calculation that considers multiple factors, including historical benefit rates, current economic indicators, and regional cost of living variations. What makes this particularly interesting is how it differs from previous stimulus payments we've seen in the past few years. Let's talk about eligibility for a moment, because this is where things get really important for many of you watching. Unlike some previous benefits that were broadly distributed, this stimulus has some specific requirements that you need to be aware of. The good news is that if you're already receiving Social Security benefits, you're already partway there. However, there are some additional criteria that could either qualify or disqualify you, and I want to make sure you understand each one. One of the most surprising aspects of this stimulus is how it takes into account your previous benefit history. Those of you who started receiving Social Security benefits before 2015 might find yourselves in a particularly advantageous position. This is because the calculation method uses a baseline from that period to determine additional eligibility factors. It's a detail that many other news sources haven't picked up on, but it could make a significant difference in whether you qualify for the full amount. Something that's really important to understand is how this stimulus payment interacts with other benefits you might be receiving. For instance, if you're getting both Social Security retirement benefits and Medicare, there are some specific considerations you need to be aware of. The good news is that this stimulus won't negatively impact your other benefits. It's been designed to complement existing payment structures rather than replace or reduce them. I've been getting a lot of questions about the timing of these payments, and I want to be very clear about this. The January 1st date is significant because it marks the beginning of the distribution period, but that doesn't mean everyone will receive their payment on that exact date. The Social Security Administration has developed a structured rollout plan to ensure smooth distribution of these funds. And I'll explain exactly how that schedule works. What's particularly interesting about this stimulus is how it accounts for different types of Social Security recipients. Whether you're receiving retirement benefits, disability benefits, or SSI, there are specific provisions that might affect how and when you receive this payment. The Trump administration's original framework for this program was surprisingly comprehensive in considering various beneficiary categories. Now, let's talk about something that's been causing some confusion: the role of the IRS in this process. While the Social Security Administration is primarily responsible for distributing these payments, the IRS plays a crucial role in verifying eligibility and ensuring proper distribution. This is actually good news for you because it means there are multiple levels of verification to ensure eligible recipients don't fall through the cracks. One aspect that hasn't been widely discussed is how this stimulus payment might affect your tax situation. I've consulted with tax experts who have provided some valuable insights about how this payment should be treated when filing your taxes. The good news is that for most recipients, this payment won't create any additional tax burden. It's been structured specifically to provide relief, not create new financial obligations. Something I think is really important to mention is how this payment compares to similar benefits in other countries. The United States isn't alone in providing additional support to seniors, but this particular program has some unique features that make it especially beneficial for American retirees. The structure of this stimulus reflects a deep understanding of the specific challenges faced by Social Security recipients in our current economic climate. Let's discuss the application process, or rather, the lack thereof for many of you. One of the most positive aspects of this stimulus is that for most eligible recipients, no additional application will be necessary. The Social Security Administration will use existing information to determine eligibility and process payments. However, there are some situations where you might need to take additional steps, and I want to make sure you're aware of them. For those of you who have recently moved or changed banks, this is particularly important information. The Social Security Administration will use the same payment method you currently use for your regular benefits. But if you need to update your information, there's a specific process you'll need to follow. I'll walk you through exactly what steps to take to ensure you don't experience any delays in receiving your payment. One of the most frequently asked questions I've received is about how this stimulus payment might affect other government benefits. I want to reassure you that this payment has been specifically designed not to interfere with other assistance programs you might be receiving. Whether you're getting SNAP benefits, housing assistance, or other forms of government aid, this stimulus should not negatively impact your eligibility for those programs. Let's talk about the verification process for a moment. Once payments begin rolling out, you'll want to know how to confirm that you're on the list to receive one. The Social Security Administration has set up several ways to verify your status, and I'll share some insider tips on the most efficient ways to check without spending hours on the phone or waiting in long lines at your local Social Security office. Something that's particularly interesting about this stimulus is how it accounts for different living situations. Whether you're living independently, in assisted living, or with family members, there are specific provisions that might affect how you receive your payment. This level of detail in the program design shows a real understanding of the diverse situations many seniors find themselves in. For those of you who are still working while receiving Social Security benefits, there are some special considerations you need to be aware of. The good news is that this stimulus payment won't count toward the earnings limit that might otherwise affect your benefits. This is a crucial detail that could make a significant difference for many of you who are balancing work and retirement. Now, let's address something that's caused some confusion: the relationship between this stimulus and Medicare premiums. Some of you have asked whether receiving this payment might affect your Medicare costs. I've researched this thoroughly, and I can explain exactly how these two programs interact and why you don't need to worry about one negatively impacting the other. One aspect of this stimulus that I find particularly noteworthy is how it accounts for regional cost of living differences. While the base amount is $1,927, there are certain factors that could adjust this amount based on where you live. This recognition of geographic cost variation shows a level of sophistication in the program's design that could benefit many of you living in higher cost areas. For those of you who are caring for dependent children or grandchildren while receiving Social Security benefits, there are special provisions you need to know about. The stimulus program includes specific considerations for beneficiaries with dependents, and this could mean additional support for those of you in this situation. Let's talk about the long-term implications of this stimulus payment. while it's currently structured as a one-time payment. There are ongoing discussions about how this might evolve into a more regular form of support. I've been following these developments closely, and I'll share what we know about potential future extensions or modifications to the program. Now, here's something crucial that many people overlook: the importance of keeping your contact information up to date with the Social Security Administration. Even if you're eligible for this stimulus, outdated contact information could delay your payment. I'll explain exactly what information needs to be current and how to update it if necessary. For those of you who might be helping elderly parents or relatives navigate this process, I want to share some specific guidance. There are particular challenges that can arise when managing benefits for others, and I'll explain exactly what authority you need and what steps to take to ensure everything proceeds smoothly. Let's discuss some practical aspects of how you might want to use this stimulus payment. While the decision is entirely personal, I've gathered some insights from financial advisors about smart ways to maximize the benefit of this additional funds, especially in our current economic climate. I think it's also important to address some of the misinformation that's been circulating about this stimulus. There have been some confusing claims made on social media and even in some news reports. I want to set the record straight about exactly what this payment is and isn't, so you can feel confident in understanding your benefits. Looking ahead, it's important to understand how this stimulus payment fits into the broader picture of Social Security benefits. The program continues to evolve, and staying informed about these changes is crucial for maximizing your benefits. I'll explain how this stimulus relates to other recent and upcoming changes in Social Security policy. Remember, while this stimulus payment is significant, it's just one part of your overall retirement security. I encourage you to view this as an opportunity to review your complete financial picture and ensure you're taking advantage of all the benefits available to you. Consider consulting with a financial advisor who can help you integrate this payment into your broader financial strategy.